I have been training coaches for nearly 20 years. And in that time, I've watched practices fail and I've watched practices thrive. And I've really learned a lot about what separates the two. Most of what I know about all the coaches that are struggling is I learned why they're struggling by the questions that they ask me. So that's what we're going to do here. You ask, I answer. Let's get into it.
Excellent. Hi, Rich. The question today comes from Lisa. She is a life coach in New Hampshire, and she asks, how do I get more coaching clients without relying on referrals?
I get that question a lot. I've learned a lot from that question.
Mhm.
And I'm going to tell you, one of the problems that coaches have is they start getting clients and they start getting referrals because of it. Every time you give quality coaching, women on average tell 33 other women about their experience with you. So it is great to have referrals. But if you're strictly relying on that source, that's going to be a problem because some months you'll get one or two, some months you'll get none. And you can't rely a real business on, let's see, let me cross my fingers and see what happens if I get a referral this month. The way to do it is to build your credibility. The way to do it is just invite 8, 10, 12 people to a workshop, whether it's in person or online, and start building your credibility and building your confidence. Because when you have confidence with your clients, you will in fact get more referrals. But more importantly is people will then come to your webinar where you can then build your credibility. And that's where clients come from. You got to build your credibility first. And you don't just do that in the marketplace. You got to keep proving it month after month after month so that you can take those 8 or 10 or 12 attendees through a sales process. Mm-hmm. That's what you have to rely on. Your output, not the possible input.
Mm-hmm. You talked about workshops, then webinars. Is that this, you're talking about the same thing?
Yeah, same thing. I call it a workshop. Sometimes I like the word workshop because in my opinion, it has a connotation of we're going to roll up our sleeves and go to work, as opposed to just a webinar. So I like the word workshop.
Okay. And one last question on that. When you say workshop, like what do you mean by that? I mean, obviously we know workshops and webinars, but how would you create this workshop? What would you do? What would you teach in it?
Well, in your niche, whatever kind of coach you want to be, whether it's a trauma coach or a life coach or a relationship coach, whatever your specialty is, your expertise, you want to do a presentation on delivering value. You don't want to be selling. You don't want to be try to cajole and convince. What you really want to do is just give value. Because when you give value on any topic, so what's your niche market, and create a workshop or a webinar around that topic. The more niche it is, the more people will come to it with that exact problem. Mm-hmm. So you got to create it. At Mars Venus, we've already created them for you. So you just plug and play. But most people, if you're not a Mars Venus coach, sit down and make a presentation.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
In your niche.
So the difference between referrals are passive and you wait for people to come to you. And by holding workshops or webinars, you get active and you go out there and you deliver value and get people
and
from
then
there.
take them through a sales process. And then after you give them value, they want more value. And you say, you know what? Why don't you set up a call with me? I'll give you a complimentary call at no charge. And I'll make that so powerful that now I'm in a position. I built credibility. I built trust. And I gave them a taste of coaching. Now you're ready to present your program options. But one thing I want to say about the referrals. Most people, it's a passive thing. They're just waiting for somebody to give them a referral. You can have a proactive approach, which is what I do with all my clients. Is I say to them, I never say, can you do me a favor and help me build my business? I'm struggling. I need clients. Don't do that. What I say to my clients is, look, if you're getting value from this coaching and you want to give that value to somebody else, tell them about me. So now it's not like they're doing me a favor, they're doing their friend a favor. And if you do that on a consistent basis, I know a lot of coaches are afraid to do that, but you should be proud to do that. I want to help you and your family and your friends and your employees or your boss. So, but I don't say, help me with my business. I always say, if you're getting value and you want to give that value to somebody else, tell them about me.
Beautiful.
It's a really good proactive approach to not referring on them coming up. Maybe I should tell somebody about you. No, it's not going to happen.
Excellent. Excellent.
So that's how I'd handle it. 20 years of watching coaches build and struggle, it comes back to the same few things. If you got a question about your practice, please leave it in the comments. The best ones I'll answer right here. And if you want to keep these, subscribe. That's a new one every single week. I'll be handling that, learn it, and your practice will thrive as well.
Beautiful.